Every Day a Better You, a podcast that's not about being better than the person next to you, but being better than the version of yourself a day prior. Your host, Fareed Johnson, accompanied by my co-host, Henri.
Hello, everyone. This is Henri. A lot of people know me as Boo. Every Day a Better You.
Welcome back to another episode of Every Day a Better You. We have some very, very special guests, but before we get to that, I want to kick it off to my main man, Boo, right here.
What's going on? How's everybody doing? Let's talk about the gym from last week. First off,
Yeah.
what was it? You got to talk to someone about
mental
health?
we went into mental health. Like, we dug deep. We went into your story.
Yeah, that's right.
No one really knew about that.
Yeah,
I'm still bugging out over that. We said try to go out there, talk to somebody if you're going through something.
Right.
Just like reach out. Right. For me, I didn't reach out. I did the helping. My daughter, who just started 9th grade today, she's been, she'll like to say she has a tough exterior, right? Like, Aubrey, like
Tough exterior means what kind of interior?
Right, exactly. Nothing bothers me, but
Yeah.
you can tell something was going on, right? So then it really started manifesting itself, in the last couple of days. So I had to really have some real conversations with her because going into high school, you see what's going on in the schools these days with these kids, and like
it's different.
It's scary. So I wanted to make sure she was right. So my wife and I made sure that she was all right. If we have to reach out to a therapist, we will. But I think we got it. I think it was just some like first day jitters. So
Yeah.
that's what I did.
I did something similar. I have a mentee that I work with, and he's going into the high school. He just started. So we were going over some things and some of his anxiety issues. But he seemed to be okay.
All right.
Football player too. So that helps.
It helps, but it also is like that's added pressure.
Yeah. But they've been practicing for a while, so
Okay.
he knows everybody.
Game Friday night.
That's right.
Friday Night Lights, you going?
That's right. Yeah, I gotta be there for him.
All
I
right.
gotta be
All
there.
right. I might show up depending on how Dallas does tonight. I don't know
man.
if
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
well, we got some special guests.
Oh
Ooh,
man!
I'm gonna let
so
you
today,
take it from here.
these are two of my buddies from way back, man. They're known for financial literacy, financial education, any platform you want to think of financially. They're the epitome of podcasting.
They were at the forefront, right?
By
Call
far.
them a forefather.
By far.
All right.
Forefather. Originators.
Yeah, there you go.
The originators. I got Troy Millings. I got Rashad Bilal, known to you as EYL, Earn Your Leisure. How you doing, guys?
What's up, my brother?
We're
How you
good,
doing?
man.
All right. Happy y'all came through finally. It's an honor.
It's all good. Thank
Word.
you for having us.
Pleasure to be
Appreciate
here.
Yeah,
Anything we can do to
Congratulations.
support, man.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Westchester all day.
That's a fact.
White
Give him
Plains,
back.
Greenberg, same. Greenberg Center.
Yes. We like to say Greenberg White Plains.
Yeah.
Whichever order you like to say
Don't
it.
matter. It don't matter.
It's all love. Nah,
It
it's
don't
all
matter.
love, man. Appreciate it. That
And,
y'all have
and
us.
we definitely appreciate what you're doing with the literacy and getting the words out there, man, because that is a big deal. That is a big deal.
Huge deal. Like it's just not enough of it. You know what I mean? And then I remember when I first heard you guys are doing that, I was like, Shad, word? Like this is what?
Yeah.
and to see you guys on that platform and really like see where you guys began to where you are now, and not even just you personally, but what you're doing for like your own community and the outer
Yeah.
communities
Without a
of
doubt.
for people that look like us.
Yeah.
It leaves you kind of speechless. So,
Appreciate
but I
that.
want you guys to talk about kind of like your humble beginnings,
How you got started.
what you do, and like we're just gonna have this nice conversation right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we started, we grew up together in Greenberg. We met, I was in 6th grade, he was in 8th grade. And then, just growing up playing sports, it's a small town, so everybody knows each other. Everybody's siblings is friends and stuff like that. So we just came up, as far as Woodlands, and then just maintained that friendship, that brotherhood. A lot of us is still actually part of Earn Your Leisure now. Like Mike, who's our other partner, he's another person that grew up with us. And variety of other different people that's involved with different employees that we have from the town. So we always just had different ideas as far as business, wanting to start a business, wanting to start investing as we got older. a lot of things just didn't pan out the way that we would have liked it to pan out. But, we just stayed encouraged as far as, wanting to have some level of entrepreneurship when it comes to working together. And I was a financial advisor. He was a teacher. And that just grew into a natural financial literacy as far as teaching in the classroom during the summertime, and then social media, and then, going viral online, and then, starting a podcast, and then from the podcast, everything else came as far as events and writing a book and doing a variety of different things. But that's where it really started as far as just us having that chemistry, talking to each other every day anyway. And then the conversations just, started to go into the realm of like, how could we actually, build a business, whether it was originally it was an idea for a fashion vlog, then it was a DJ app. So it was a few different things that we had in the works. And then Earn Your Leisure was the one thing that really just took off.
Right.
Where does that name come from? Like, how did that originate?
Right.
Because that's a unique name, and it's catchy.
Yeah, it was an idea that I kind of came up with, catered to him. At the time he was looking at the landscape of social media. Like you said, we were starting this fashion blog, and so we were just trying to figure out how to gain traction. But he was creating his own personal brand, and we were just like, all right, let's just get behind whatever he's doing, just naturally. And hashtags was a big thing, right? Like he kind of looked at the landscape and said, social media is going to change the way we look at celebrity, right?
Absolutely.
Like the financial advisor could be the celebrity, the chef could be the celebrity, the teacher could be a celebrity. If you add value, you can become that. And so he was like, I just need a hashtag. I got this campaign. I'm giving information right now. I need a hashtag. And we were working out at Crunch, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Crunch. And I remember, like, I was driving. I'm like, yo, I got it. I was like, yo, I got the idea. I got the hashtag for you. And he was like, what is it? And I was like, Earn Your Leisure. And he was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. I was like, nah, it's perfect. And I kind of explained it to him in a way. It was like, especially coming from 914 and being in Greenberg and White Plains, people think that there's no struggle, right?
Right.
You've come from a silver spoon.
We have struggles like everybody.
Right. And it's just that mindset that, like, oh, you're not from the city. You must have had a great life, not knowing that circumstances happen everywhere.
What?
And so we were like, everything that we've done, especially like the time, like traveling and having nice cars, people were like, oh, you guys have been handed to you, not realizing like the work that you had to put in. Like you've seen from being in the after school programs and going to school at night, and him waking up and working out and going to school and trying to figure things out. Like everything we felt that we had done was earned. And I was like, yeah, we've kind of earned some of these freedoms that we have. And so like Earn Your Leisure was like the hashtag. And so he started using that under his posts. And it was like good for a while. Then other people started using it for like travel, right? So like you started seeing the hashtag pop up, and it was like, like a Jet2 holiday now?
Yeah.
It was like Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
And so when we were coming up with the show, we were coming up with idea names for it. He had an idea and I had an idea, and we were just kind of like, yeah, I don't know if those are going to work for us. They were dope, but I don't think they're going to work. And we're like, yo, let's just use Earn Your Leisure. It's ours. We created it. We could trademark it. It was already a hashtag for you. Let's go with that. And so that was December of 2018. So we had the name. And in January, we kicked the show off, Earn Your Leisure.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you had all of these ideas, right? But the podcast ended up being like the central thing, and everything else kind of branched off from there.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The other part of it is, like you talked about, the community center.
Yeah.
That plays a major role in it.
Absolutely.
Obviously, being an educator. The thing you just said about it not existing was the reason why, like, we have an opportunity here, because it doesn't exist. In fact, like, you start to think, why hasn't it been inside a curriculum? But the summer program gave me an opportunity to say, all right, it doesn't exist, but we can create something. And we needed a face for it. So at the time, I'm like, all right, bet, this is my best friend. He's a financial advisor. He can be the face of this financial literacy thing that we're going to do with these kids. We're about to pay them for the summer. If we pay them, that means we should teach them about the money. And so that started an idea of like, oh, teaching people about money from my realm. And then he was like, we should record this. He started recording it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'm not even thinking like that.
So hold on. So your role is kind of like you because he's a social media guy. I'm getting better. Every day I better you. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But he had that vision as far as social media and
100%.
podcasting and this and that.
My idea was scale this, right? So if it's in Greenberg, how come I don't have it in White Plains? If it's in White Plains, how come I don't have it in Mount Vernon? How come I don't have it in New Rochelle? And then realizing that I'd have to physically be in those places and create teams and go through boards and get approvals. And
Which
he was
is
just
a nightmare.
record.
Yeah.
His vision was there for it. And so, and that's a key thing to recognize, right?
Right.
That was his strength. It wasn't mine.
Right.
But like, how does this come together? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So he was already on that mission, and the podcast came because of him sitting down doing interviews. Straight up, he was doing interviews, killing it. And people thought he had a show. And they were like, yo, where can I get the rest of this episode?
Yeah, I remember that.
And he was like, hold on. He texted me like, yo, let's start a podcast. I'm like, all right.
Bet.
Never listened to one, didn't know any equipment, but it was, hey, you want to do this? I'm with you. Let's go.
Does that sound
Yeah,
familiar?
yeah. It's like our,
Does that sound
it's our
familiar?
story. So you had these ideas, Shad, and when did it start like coming to like fruition that all right, social media is popping off? When did you get the foresight to even like think about these kind of things?
Yeah.
Well, I was inspired by a friend of ours, Val Valencia. She was a teacher in Baltimore at that time, and that was like around like 2012 probably. And she was going viral a lot for like, she was recording her classroom, and like she was teaching different things like about like Black history, and like it was just very engaging content that she was doing around the kids in her class and her classroom, and it just got a lot of attention online. And that's when it was like, okay, like, yeah, you know, the social media thing is something that, because we know how we grew up with her, so seeing her do it, it was inspiring to me, because I'm like, all right, now if she can do it, then, you know, anybody can do it. Not to say it like that, but I'm just saying, like, that's just a regular person, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was inspiring to see her actually do that, because, like I said before, I had kind of always looked at social media like, this is an opportunity, this is different things, but, you know, it's like, you know, you don't really know if it's going to work or not. Right. But then having her do it and succeed, that was like an encouragement. So that's when it was like, all right, you know, we going to really. Well, actually, at that point in time, I wasn't really thinking about a group collective. It was more so myself, of like, I wanted to become a celebrity financial advisor, because I wanted to work with athletes and entertainers.
Right.
But I didn't have the resources as far as the connections to get in touch with those people. So I figured if I could become lit on social media, then they would come to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was why I was like, all right, you know, when we first started, I'm just on social media, I'm doing videos about life insurance, I'm doing photo shoots, I had a public access show. I was just doing a lot of different content, just throwing it all at the wall, seeing what was sticking. And that grew into, you know, the collective working and earning your leisure. But that the model that we have now wasn't my original idea.
It morphed into
that over the course of time. The original idea was like, I want to grow my financial planning business and do that by way of social media. And like I said, she was the one that really, like, I looked at her and I'm like, all right, you know, this is something that's actually doable.
How did you gain access to all of those outlets? Like you said, you had a public access channel and all of these different things. How did you gain access to that? Just because like your relationships?
Yeah, just
people?
relationships. I mean, as far as like the public access show, I don't even know how I you know, that was just a town of Greenberg. I knew the girl that was running the public access channel. And, my man Kev Vega.
Kev, right?
Kev Vega.
Yeah, Kev.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Kev Vega was the one, actually, because he had an idea. I don't know how he but he was like, yo, they came to me, they wanted me to do a public access show. Talking about Kev, he's like, I don't want to do it, but I wanted to produce a show. So he actually produced the show, and that was me and another girl, and it was called Trending Topics. So he came to me, but it was just around the time that I'm starting social media, so I'm like, all right, this is perfect because it's just more content for me, and it's just more ways to just get in front of the camera. So that's how that came about. And then me marketing myself as a financial advisor, I was just, you know, it's a commission-based job, so you got to be all over the place. So I had linked up with a group called Black Westchester, and shout out to them. And they still do have like a newspaper. I think it might be online now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got introduced to them, but I kind of connected with them, and I became a resource to them as far as I used to write articles for them. and it was a lot of ghost articles. That's another thing too. People don't know you can actually write ghost articles. Like there's articles that have already been written that you can actually like white paper. And it's okay. It's not plagiarism because they've done it so people can actually
do that. Right.
Exactly. So at the time, I couldn't. It was compliance for my job was real difficult as far as being a financial advisor. So if I wrote something, I would have to send it to compliance. But the office had a bunch of articles that was already pre-written on life insurance, disability insurance, whatever. So I would send it to them, and I would be like a monthly correspondent in their newsletter.
Nice.
And then from there, I developed a relationship with them, and then they had their own show. So I would go on their show pretty regularly, and I would talk about different financial topics. So a lot of those clips that went viral was from actually their show. Like I did a clip about 50 cents vitamin water deal.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah. So I would just go to this, and then from there, I'm just networking. So I would just meet different people. This one lady, she had a show in Brooklyn, East New York. I'll never forget. I had to go out there. But I just looked, anybody that would have me on their show, I would go on their show because I was recording content on my own too. So I would use their show to get clips. So I would have my cell phone like right here, and as I'm talking, I'm recording it on my cell phone, and I'm just clipping up the footage from my cell phone afterwards. So then now that's just content from my own personal social media page. So that was the idea. I just needed content. So all of that was just a form of actually getting content to put on the page. Then the classroom, that's another form of content. We tape in the classroom, putting that on the page. So it was my public access show, other people's show that would have me, the classroom videos, random cell phone videos, like I would do like in the car, stuff like that, talking about different topics. I would do photo shoots. Mike, who's actually our partner, we worked early on. We did photo shoots, and
Mikey was always
we just do different type of stuff, and even I started to write like mini blogs on social media. So I would do like case studies, writing. Like I even did one about like Nipsey Hussle comparing his business model with Apple. This is before he passed away, and that became pretty popular. So it was like a storm of different type of content. It was like 7 different types of content strategies that I was just doing consistently, just to, create that buzz as far as the financial literacy, and just kind of, because I didn't want to just do one thing.
Right.
I wanted to do a variety of different things. So it was kind of entertaining to people. So that was the whole like blueprint as far as my social media strategy.
So that was the thing that did it. The social media is the thing that kind of
Instagram definitely. Yeah, that's what got everything rolling as far as like people knowing what was going on, the demand. Once we started On Your Leisure, like everything came by way of Instagram.
Okay.
And then from there, everything else came off of that. But that started before the show. So my own personal page, I did 2 years before Earn Your Leisure. Then we started Earn Your Leisure. Then like probably a few weeks after that, we had started the podcast. But we had traction already.
Yeah.
So it made the podcast an easier start because there was already a lot of groundwork that was done before that.
Yeah.
So in doing that groundwork, can you talk about some of the times where like you felt like, you know what, I'm doing, like you just said like 8 different things you're doing, right? Content creating. You're a financial advisor, which is a time-consuming job to begin with, right? So now you're going home, you're doing all this other stuff. When you first started on social media, the numbers weren't what they are now. So can you talk about like pushing through those kind of discouraging moments and like
but I never really looked, because I looked at it like, my first video, I think I got like 700 views. So how I looked at it was like coming from a world of financial advising, like I used to do a seminar for 20 people. Or if I could talk to, I'm talking to one-on-one. So to me, I'm like, if 700 people is a lot of people.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I ain't really look at it like,
okay.
Now,
Eating dubs.
now looking at it now, like that might be discouraging because I think people have a different, like it's so much pressure on social media now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like everybody's comparing themselves to other people, right? And there's other people in the space. But at that time, there's really no other. I had nobody to really compare myself to. And like I said, my goal was to get clients originally. So I'm like, all right, shit. If I could reach 500 people, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And 1,000 people, like I got to be able to get a couple clients.
Right.
If 1,000 people actually watch my video. So that kind of just kept me going early, was just not really looking at it from a standpoint of like, I'm making content to make a tremendous impact on like podcasts, stuff like that. It was like really like, yo, I'm trying to make content just to get clients.
Real life stuff, right?
Yeah,
Same-
exactly.
I think that's the part that gets missed, is that there was a profession and there was a profession
Absolutely.
before there was
Absolutely.
a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't a lot of people coming to the space like, I'm going to do the show because I'm going to make a lot of money. And our idea was like, nah, like he had a career, I had a career. It was just like, all right, let's just do something to add value.
And it's important you said that, because that's the culture that we're in, especially with these kids. They see these type of things, and they're like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be a YouTuber, video game person or whatever, but it doesn't work like that
That's
usually.
why I say everything has to be earned.
Yes.
Right? And so
Yes.
like, while I'm teaching, we're doing this.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm waking up, but again, knowing my strengths, I'm like, all right, well, he's got social media down pat. What do I do?
Right. Same here.
And so it was like, how do we make this easier? So I literally would wake up at 5 o'clock. I remember sitting there one day, 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to write a post. And I'm like, bro, this is not it. But what am I good at? I'm good at reading. I'm good at researching. I'm good at finding information. So I'm like, I bet anytime I find information, I'm gonna send it to him. And so my goal was, by the time he woke up, hopefully I sent him like 10 articles.
Yeah, yeah.
And my thought was like, I know people, especially like where we from, they're not going to read Wall Street Journal. They're not going to read Business Insider. They're not going to read CNBC, Fox Business, Wired,
But guess what?
Inc.
Now they are. They see.
Well, here's what I thought. Like, if I read it, then they don't have to.
yeah.
Right? Because I think at the time, Grammarly had just came out, and it was like, yo, they're summarizing complete articles into paragraphs.
Right.
Right? Because they want people to have their time back. I don't want you to have to comb through 7 pages to get the point. I'm like, wait, if I read all those publications and find articles that I think you'll find informative, then I've saved you the time. So I'm like, all right, send him as many articles as I can. He'll look at them and say, all right, that's one. Right? I might send him 10. He might pick one.
Right.
That's the one we're going with for today. Or he might say, like, we're going to do 3 posts a day. Out of those 10, we'll use 3 of them. And so every day it was like, feed the information, feed the information. And then now it's like he doesn't have to research it, because I'm going to like hear it. You know what I'm saying? So now
Yes.
we're working it together in that sense. But at the same time, it was, I'm teaching.
Right.
Yeah.
But anytime I had breaks, so if it was a lunch break or for it was like, hey, we got to school at 3, this is what I'm doing, right? When I wake up, this is what I'm doing, because I knew your 9 to 5 can pay you, right? But what you do from 5 to 12 can change your life forever.
Right.
That's how I always thought of it, right? Like, what
Yeah.
are we doing after we leave our profession?
And
Exactly.
it's important you bring that up, because how we grew up, you that's what you know. I mean, financially, you're just about illiterate, right? You know, 9 to 5, maybe you get a 10 to 6, and do the same thing over. You get paid the bills, have a little money, do the same thing over. And after a while, it's like you stuck. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You look back 15 years, and it's like, I've been on this job for 20 years, and this is all I got.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle is terrible.
Yeah, it becomes super redundant, especially in
Yes.
education, where it's like, when I'm teaching phys ed.
But we went through the same program, man.
Exactly. I was at Manhattanville, so like, you know that. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here like, yo, I've been doing this for 8 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting creative with the games.
Yes,
But
but
at the
it's-
middle school level now, it's team sports.
Where were you?
I was in the Bronx for 8 years, and then I was in
Okay.
New Rochelle for 5.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, they're not going to invent nothing new.
No.
Like, we get creative with games, but like, this is
yeah.
going to get super redundant.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about the education space. I'm like, oh, this is why they keep changing how they teach curriculum.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if your second grade teacher taught you subtraction and taught your kid the same way.
Yeah.
They'd wear out of it,
Yeah.
right? So they got to keep reinventing the ways
Right.
to teach it. And I'm like,
Right.
well, subtraction is subtraction.
Right.
And now you can change the format to how you teach it, but like in our it was like, nah,
No.
this is it. I'm like, I can't do this forever.
So the thing is, you did it for 8. I did it for 2 and switched to the firehouse.
You got out of it.
To the firehouse. You know what I mean?
There goes that degree.
But I mean, listen, it's no blueprint, like you said. It's no one avenue to success. But what would you say is the thing that really put y'all over the top? That really made people say, "Oh, these guys, they got something. They're different." Because what I would say was, when I seen you guys talking about the financial stuff, and I was an adult, and I was like, "Yo, I don't know any of this stuff." Well,
Yeah,
just-
I think it's a topic that we had a niche topic that
That's
wasn't
the big part of it, right.
wasn't really oversaturated
Right.
as far as everybody was doing it. So it was a unique, it was original, it was unique. The content I think was entertaining. How we wrapped it, especially like early, we was a lot of case studies and stuff like that. So it was done in an entertaining manner, meant to meet like pop culture and business blended together. And then also, I think that it's one of these things that once people start to actually see results, then it spreads like wildfire as far as, you know, oh, this actually works. I make money doing this. Da, da, da. It kind of becomes like a cult
Yes.
favorite amongst people. So I think it's a variety of different things. Consistency, definitely. The timing, it was just good timing. The topic that we picked, how we blended the education into it, the results that people received, and then just, you know, the chemistry that we have as far as how we was able to communicate. People, you know, kind of just gravitated towards that. So I think it's any level of success. There's a variety of different reasons why something happens, but I think that's you know, a few of the reasons why that kind of took off the way it did.
Yeah, I always say the value add is the most important thing, and we can't underestimate the look.
You can't.
Right, so
That's
like
important, man.
imagine now you're hearing financial education coming from guys that's wearing hoodies and sneakers, and we were super intentional about that, and we realized there's more people that look like us than there are that have a shirt and tie on. Right, it almost just felt like when we say we're trying to democratize something, like that was the path, right? Like the everyday person doesn't have this information, like you just said, right? And he's seen clients, and actually my neighbor, he's like, I'm a doctor. I don't know anything about finance because we think education is monolithic, right? We're like, yo, if you're a doctor, you must be smart. Yeah, but you may not have any financial education. The lawyer might not have any financial. I know plenty of teachers that have no financial education, even though they're great in their career paths. And so it was like, oh, there's an avenue here, right? The fact that we can talk to the common person, we can understand the language from Wall Street, and we can translate it and decode it and explain it to you in layman terms. Now you don't need Wall Street anymore. You got the guys that listen to Wall Street, actually understood what they said, and they're giving it to you, right? So it was a foreign language that now becomes common.
I'm so glad you said the piece about hoodies and sneakers, right? So I'm in education, like you and like you used to be, and I'm in leadership. Okay, so now I'm head of a school. I got on hoodie, sneakers, I wear my earrings, and I'm like, but I can speak just like any other intelligent leader that doesn't look like me, right? And there's power to that, and I do think that is why you're so successful. You're not there in like your suit and tie because you gotta dress the part. Like, what does that even mean? So that's really key that you guys were so intentional about making that part of your platform.
It's the most unique thing in the world, right? We get to be our authentic selves every day. Like, you've known us for years.
And to me, right, and to me, that's a success because first of all, representation is very important.
Right.
Even if somebody had a suit and tie that didn't look like us, is speaking a certain way, you're going to tune out, right? The language is different, you know, so that's another aspect as opposed to me talking to you and you breaking things down slowly one by one. And, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe I could do some of this. Maybe I could, you know?
Yeah, it becomes super encouraging when you see somebody that looks like you do it and then you have the success. And that authenticity, you can't replicate it, right? Like, we get to show up every day and I could be Troy every single day and he could be Rashad every single day. Like, there is no, hey, we get to say action and let's go. And a lot of people don't have that luxury, but we were able to create that and people resonated with it. Like, they felt like, I really know these guys. Like, I feel like I grew up with them. Like, when people see us, that's what they say. Like, I feel like I know you.
Absolutely.
I'm like, you do. If you watch us, then you know us. And that's a gift in itself.
So this is now, so you resigned from teaching?
Yeah. So
Long time ago.
Back when I used to teach. So the pandemic happened and we were still doing Earn Your Leisure, but obviously everything got shut down. And I used to put these like goals. I used to write them to myself, and I'm like, if I hit this goal, if I can double my teacher salary, I'll stop teaching. And then we kind of reached that goal like right when the pandemic started. And then it was like, all right, well, if I could triple it, all right, then we hit that goal in the pandemic, and it's like, all right, well, that goal's reached. If I could, I'm watching my wife, and she's working corporate, and I'm watching her working from 9 to 7. I'm like, I need to stop her from working. She needs to come help us. It's more beneficial. I'm like, if I can match her salary, I'll stop. I'm like, oh, we did that on a monthly, not on a yearly yet. Then I'm like, if we can double it now, I can really, and we hit all those parameters. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? You're in the way. Like, there's a 26-year-old you or 25-year-old that needs this job as a phys ed teacher right now, and you're in the way doing a disservice. Like, you're just collecting. And I was like, all right, I need to stop now. So I tried to. And I called HR. I'm like, yo, I'm going to take a leave of absence. My principal was like, hey, just take a leave of absence.
Yeah,
you never
don't go
know.
nowhere.
Keep your benefit. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
This may not work. I'm like, all right, cool. I respect for you. I'll take the leave of absence. Called HR. They were like, look, either you show up or you resign. And I was like,
Yeah, that sounds like
I think I'm good. I'm not going to do either. So I just didn't show up. And like a year later, they accepted my leave of absence.
But you know what? That was kind of a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? Because it was to the point. Listen, what you gonna do? Either gonna show up or you gonna write. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
in my mind, I'm thinking like, I'm not sure. I'm telling her that I'll leave his name anonymous. I'm like, look, I'm doing this out of respect for my principal.
Yeah.
It really isn't a financial situation. Like, I'm gonna be okay. Like, I've really planned for this, but out of respect for him, he asked me to do this. I'll do it. We went back and forth. That he actually got fired. But like I said, I was in the way. And I said, this is it. I'm going full throttle into this because my cap of what I could do in the world of education, ceiling was low. Right. And I would look at it like, especially in teaching, like, where can you have the biggest impact, right? Like, you may be able to impact a classroom, maybe a school, maybe a school district. But like, in this realm, I was like, wait, we can impact the world. And that's totally different, right? Like, people are listening in Saudi Arabia. People are listening in Tokyo. This is a global impact. Now, you got to go where that is, man. Go chase that.
That's amazing. Shah, what about you? You still in the financial world, or this is it right now?
Well, let me just say, do you remember when you used to be on the train? I used to be checking the rig at the firehouse. I used to see Sade. He would be going by. I was on Ferris, Station 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he would be going
there.
by. Sade, you say the peace sign.
That's a fact. That's
Yeah,
a fact.
you remember them days,
For
right?
sure, 100%.
Yeah.
The financial advisor, I'm not full. I don't do that anymore. I'm still licensed, but it just became too much to try to manage both of those worlds. And then the thing with me is that the compliance issues started to become a problem.
Yeah.
As far as it's a very regulated industry. So like what you do online is they have to approve things that you do online. So it got to a point where it was just too much. Like, I had already spoken to the compliance team before a few times, but then it got to a point where they like, look, like, it's going to have to either be this or it's gonna be that.
It's real.
Yeah.
But luckily for me at that point in time, we was already kind of, on our way with Earn Your Leisure. So it was cool to kind of just, focus on that. It wasn't like at the beginning stages. So I was able to walk both sides of the street for long enough where by the time I was forced to kind of pick one, it was an easier decision than it would have been like, early on.
That's right. We were sitting, I remember that moment because we were sitting in the car in Miami and he got the email and he was like, they saying I got to choose. He was like, well, so I was like, yo, congratulations, bro. Now we going after this thing.
So now what does that look like? Because so you're obviously sitting on a podcast, right? And we're new, we're like babies to this game, right? So we're that's all we kind of know. We're trying to like figure out the other stuff. But what does it look like going out there? Because you're a brand, right? Like, you're not just a podcast, you're a brand. You're done with your 9 to 5. You're done with your 9 to 5. This is what you do. So what is what you do?
Like, as far as how do you make a living out of it? Well, I think the podcast, like you said, I mean, for us, it's always been like the brand, and the podcast is a part of it. But the low hanging fruit is like you after a while you make money from YouTube, AdSense, right? Like, so that's one way you can actually start monetizing the podcast. Then Apple, Spotify, from the audio side, you can start, more downloads you get, the more money that you get from that. So that's a way to start making money just from pure content. And the same type of content, the same content actually, but one is a visual experience, one is an audio experience, and then you make money from that. That's like the first avenue of it, and then from there, merch. We have merch, so that
The merch is fire, by the way. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, from what I understand, who controls the merch? BAM?
Yeah. BAM is the one that actually like runs the day-to-day operations.
Because last time I seen him, he was actually moving down.
To where?
To Atlanta.
Oh, that was years ago.
Yeah, that's the last time I seen him.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, I'm going down to help.
Yeah,
I was like,
he been
wow.
in Atlanta for like 10 years.
I was like, wow. I was like, getting like that? He said, I'm leaving the post office. I'm going down to help.
Yeah, I mean, that's a story in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the merch, then we start doing events.
Yeah.
So, you can make money from events as far as ticket sales are concerned, or what type of events you're doing. You get, if it's at a restaurant, bar, you get a percentage of the bar, stuff like that. And then from there, we start to have like an online community. So a lot of people that do podcasts, they have like a paywall, like Joe Button,
Yeah.
right? Where some content is free, then some content is behind what they call a paywall, like Patreon, where you have subscribers that pay a community. So we had the Patreon, but from most of our paywall has come from an EYL University. That's our subscription-based model.
Right.
So it's like, the stuff that we do on
You do
YouTube.
seminars, financial seminars, and everything.
Well,
like
the
that.
EYL University is built after like a school model where we have like weekly classes, different topics.
Nice.
We have people that teach. We have groups inside of it. So it's built out as a community, smaller, hands-on, as opposed to like YouTube. We just put a video out and it's just like whoever sees it sees it.
So
right?
it's like basically like a consultancy.
Yeah, kind
So
of
to
like
speak.
I would look at it like what we do in terms of Earn Your Leisure, the podcast or the show, and Market Money's out of the show, public education, Earn Your Leisure University, private education.
Gotcha.
Right, so like I'm going to teach a class, right? Like we're talking about investing on Market Mondays. That's more of the what, right? When Earn Your Leisure University, how, when. So it's more hands-on. Shadi does a class, right? So look, we're hands-on in there. We're in the community, texting and telling people like this is what we're looking at. So people, again, when we talk about community, they feel like they're part of it because they are,
Absolutely.
right? Because the things that we're saying, like the public is hearing, but we're telling them like, yo, this is how you do it. This is the real way.
Yeah, so that then like different corporate sponsorships that we might get or corporate partnerships, and then we start working with other people, and then we have different affiliate programs that we could potentially run. So it doesn't all happen at one time. Like
Yeah.
it happens over the course of time. Like you
Right.
pick up different revenue streams as you go. But those are a few revenue streams that we've been able to just add on to over the course. Okay, like maybe in 6 months we do this, and then we do that, and then we do that as we grow, and we just keep adding different revenue streams on to it. But kind of the first thing is like the audio YouTube type thing. That's like the first time that most people start to monetize their show, and then everything else kind of grows from there.
Yeah, that was even a revelation. Like I said, we didn't come into the space, but hey, this is going to be our new
Right.
career. Right? I remember when we put the episode out, we was on Anchor, and I think Shai texted me like, "Yo, we got to read an ad." I'm like, "What's that?" I'm like, "What you mean? What you mean?" And he was like, "Click that red button, and it's going to have the actual ad. Then you got to read it, and it's going to upload into the episode. And every 1,000 listens, we're going to make like $17." So I was like, "Oh, bet." All right, if we make how many, we gotta like.
Yeah,
you
you
got
do the
it.
math. Oh wow! But let me say this real good because we need
Yeah,
some.
I'm gonna keep doing this. So like literally, I would be like in between classes.
Yeah.
Like kids outside. I'm like closing the window, trying to record these things in one take. But it was the idea like, yeah, if we get 10,000, so 17. Okay, bet that's 10. It's only $170. I'm like, well, what
Yeah.
if we got like 4 ads that were
Right.
17? Right? Then I don't need 10,000 listens. I
Right,
might
right.
just need 5.
5, yeah.
So that's how we started looking at it. Like, oh,
How'd you
well,
get the ads?
so at that point they would give them to you. But then I'm starting to think like, wait, we can go out to people. Like we become a
Local
resource.
businesses, yeah.
I think that is a part that people miss, right? Like if you have connections, you have relationships, especially in your community, the local business, right? If I go to hypothetically
working on
a
Yeah.
Planet Pizza,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, yo, listen, we got the show. A lot of this community listens to the show.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to put an ad on it for $100 a month?
Right.
Like, what's $100 to them?
Right.
But to you, it's
Nothing.
like, I can get 100 there, I can go there. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of car dealerships.
Yeah, it adds up.
Right? Like, my audience is your audience. These
Right.
are your consumers.
Right.
And so, like, that becomes a way. And then, as you build relationships, now it becomes, all right, that worked there. Hey, we just had this relationship with that corporate account. Like, maybe we can talk to them about doing it. And so, now you start building up the clientele, but you prepared yourself because you were doing it at this level.
So we're all confident black men in this room, except for Claudio. He's Hispanic.
There you go. This guy always starting trouble. This guy.
How, with that in mind, was there ever like a sense of doubt where you look at each other like, yo, this ain't working how we want it to
Never.
work? Should we?
Never. I don't think I've ever, right? Never. I don't even think that wasn't even an option for us. You know what I mean? Like it never crossed my mind. I've never seen it cross his mind.
Right.
It was like it has to work or it has to work. And if it doesn't work, let's readjust and make it work.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
find a way. You tweak it. Okay, this
Yeah.
ain't working. Let's go this way.
That's
maybe this way.
a beautiful thing.
That's
to hear.
kind of always been the thing. I think we kind of like-minded in that way. It's like, all right, this has to work.
Right.
And we're going to make sure that it does. And if it does, let's learn from it and let's make sure we find to it to make sure that it works the next time. I've never seen us in a position where it's like, damn, that sucked. We failed. Ever felt down on ourselves.
Right,
We don't
right.
have that luxury.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We
Yeah.
understand as we're doing it, the role we play in the space, right? Because like you said, prior to us doing it, how many people were in the space? And so it was like, yo, there's not just us that's counting on this as something as like the barrier. Like this is something that
Yeah, it's big.
people are watching.
Yeah, it's bigger than y'all,
audience is
man.
a community is why it's
Yeah.
bigger than us.
Yeah.
We got to keep going.
Yeah.
So sacrifices you had to make, right? So like today, for example, my kid's first day of school, I got a second grader getting off the bus. I was like to my wife, I was like, I can't get her off the bus. I got
same.
Rashad and Troy coming. I like
is
you don't
big.
understand. Like this is like a thing. And she's like, I don't care about Rashad and Troy, right? So I got to give her a shout out.
So when he texted
Thank
me
you.
that, I said, "Yo, just show the website."
Yeah, just show the numbers,
who they
bro.
are.
Show the numbers.
Show the numbers. The website. Like we're not doing this. We're not.
feel you.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and here I am, but
Yeah.
I got to give her a shout out. But there's a lot of sacrifices like that, right? Can you talk a little bit about some of the sacrifices you had to make, like real life sacrifices to like continue to be successful like you are?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's a lot. I feel like, whether it's sacrificing time, whether it's sacrificing, play time with your children, especially you start traveling, you're going to be missing a variety of different things. And relationships, you got to have to navigate that. And it's any type of business. I feel like as an entrepreneur, it's no 9 to 5. It's not like you have a set schedule where it's like, okay, I can bank on doing this because I know my schedule is this. Like you said, sometimes in business, you might have to do something at 11 o'clock at night, or you might have to do something at 5 o'clock in the morning, or you might have to travel last minute, or, different things pop up, or the job's not really done until the work is actually done. It's not like you can just clock out because it's like, okay, well, I did as much as I can do till 5 o'clock, and then I'll just do
no
the rest
such thing.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like when it's your work,
Yeah.
you look at it differently. When it's somebody else's work, then it's like, all right, I'll get back to it tomorrow.
Done for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Done for the day.
So you might not get done till 11 o'clock.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So now it's a lot of sacrifices for sure. I think time management is very important. You got to stay organized. You got to have a calendar. You got to, be as organized as possible because you just can't wing it. It'd be too much for you to wing it. And communication, just constantly communicating with different, whoever you're communicating with, just so they understand, or, even your kids, like, having them have some level of understanding, stuff like that. So there's always going to be sacrifices made if you want to be, it's Mamba mentality. So, rest in peace to Kobe, but that's what it's about, right? Like, nobody that has achieved great things in life didn't sacrifice.
And I was going to say that the training for that is us being, all of us are athletes here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So time management, you got practice, then you got study hall, you got weight room in the morning, you got film. You just transfer it over to real life. You know what I mean?
Those are those skills. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. Like literally, I was like, oh man, their first day of school. Well, I can't get them off the bus, but I think the first thing, and I'm trying to allude to it, is the communication piece, right? Like my wife, at one point, I mean, she's been with me for so long, so she's always been supportive of everything I've done. But the fact that she's in the business now, she understands it even more so. Like she understands that tug and pull, and so her main thing is like, yo, as long as you're okay, go. Right, like I might get a text tomorrow, like, "Yo, hey, guys, you got to travel to Africa next week," and she's gonna be like, "All right, well, let's look at the things that are on the calendar that you might miss." So being openly communicative about that, and then even with your kids, I remember I think my daughter was graduating in 5th grade, and it was like the BET Awards at the same time, and I looked at it, I'm like, Jay.
Yeah.
You can't miss no BT Awards.
I'm not gonna call him. I know what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, all right,
Yeah.
what time's the flight?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, Jay, this is what's happening. She's like, Dad, it's not my last graduation.
Right.
And I was like,
Oh, you're a
bad.
good dad.
She
Yeah,
know
that
that.
raised her well.
Dad,
I
I'm
was
only
like-
in 5th grade. Take
she's
it
like,
easy.
it's
You
5th
gotta do what
grade.
you gotta
Like,
do.
and so this year, like she graduated 8th grade, and my son graduated 5th grade the same week. So I was like, make sure that with certain things, I'll make sure I'm
Right.
there for it. And if I'm not,
Balance.
I'm overly communicative about it. But they understand it. It's very. I actually took them out to dinner the other night and just thanked them because I don't know what it is to grow up in the life that they're in.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We
They're
talk
doing,
about
and
that all
not
the
even close.
time.
and
Right.
they're
Not
so
even close.
good about it, and everybody talks about how humble they are, and I'm just like, damn, I couldn't imagine it. Like, if I was my dad,
Right.
I'd be out of control.
Right.
I'd be out of control. Like, well, I'm stunned on everybody in
Yeah,
school, and they're just kind of like, they want to just be who they are. They want to be with their peer group. They want to make their own friends. They want to make their own name, which is like extremely honorable. Like a couple nights ago, I was just like, yo, thank you for just being who you are in the midst of all this.
Now, speaking of Africa, can you tell the people that what you have going on in Africa?
Yeah, for sure. We got a real estate project in Ghana, which is a 400-acre development. When it's all said and done, the first phase is 40 acres, but that's something that we're working on for the last couple of years now. Phase 1 hopefully be done top of 2026. Yeah. So that's something that's real big. But just overall, we've been in Africa a lot over the last couple of years. Kenya, Rwanda,
So
Ghana.
I had seen you when you were first going, and you were telling me you're going to Africa. I said, what's in Africa?
Yeah.
You was like, everything.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Everything.
So it's
I was like, really?
You know, it's a lot of opportunity, man. I feel like Africa is one of the last places on earth where it's just like still so much opportunity to grow, and everybody understands that. As far as like China, you see China and
Oh, they I hate to use the term, but they rape Africa because they get all the resources out of there.
Everybody.
I mean, let's be honest. When you think of Africa from a kid, you think of those commercials and all that type
Send
of
a
stuff.
dollar to a child.
Yeah, the kid
yeah.
with flies
But
in
it's
their
not
face.
all that.
You know, it's not. It's not all that. You know?
Nah, for sure. So it's good for people just to see different things, and we feel like it's a lot of opportunity in Africa. And of course, you know, that's just, you know, a natural connection anyway. So anytime we go over there, it's just good energy, you know, good food. We have great conversations. We have a lot of friends that we made. And it's kind of small too. It's a continent, but it's like it's a small circle as far as like the circle that we're in. So like any country that we go to, we can get plugged in pretty easily because the people that we know a lot of the people that's moving and shaking in the world of business and government and stuff like that. So we've been able to move around pretty effectively. And like I said, it's been all over. We've been to the east side, Kenya, Rwanda. We've been to the west side, Benin, Ivory Coast, Ghana,
Nigeria.
We've been to Egypt. So we've been moving around for a couple of years out there. So the goal is to definitely expand business-wise on not just the real estate project, but other stuff as well, and to really, you know, see what we can do out there. But I think that they have welcomed us everywhere that we went. We've been welcomed. And there's a lot of opportunity. And
How big is the real estate? You said 400 square miles?
400
acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's important. Like when you talked about building a brand versus building a show, our brand is synonymous with business. And so when countries see us, they're not thinking we come in to play sports.
No.
They're
Right.
not thinking we come in to entertain them.
No.
They're looking at it like, oh, business is happening. So our audience is looking at it like if they're there, something's
to
about
be-
to happen.
Yeah.
And they're about to show us how we can benefit from being there. Number one, by working together with people that are already there, the movers and shakers, like you said. But it's also being the brand, you get to help shape narrative. Yeah. So the same way you viewed Africa was the same way I viewed it when I grew up. But somebody's watching us saying, wow, they have nice beaches there?
Yeah.
Like, we've never seen a beach on a continent that's surrounded by water.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Wait, there's IT and infrastructure there, and technology's happening there. In Nairobi, Google's there, and Microsoft is in Nigeria and Lagos. Why are they there?
I read they have a resource, a certain type of metal where a lot of companies need to use as far as making phones and everything like that.
They have I think there's 131. Chloe, you might want to research that for me. 131 natural elements on the periodic table, and I think all but 2 of them are on the continent. So it has every natural resource in the world.
There.
yeah, but
There.
what you're talking about is cobalt.
Cobalt, yes.
It's cobalt and coltan, but
Yes.
cobalt is what they make the cell phones out of.
Yes.
Electric cars.
Yeah.
All of the AI revolution is getting, and that's actually a lot of that is found in Congo.
Yes.
So that they actually have a huge conflict in Congo, and that's something that, you know, people are fighting over natural minerals, but that's like one of the most important minerals today because it's powering the iWatch, iPhone, Teslas,
I was
all
reading
that.
up on that.
Yeah, all the EVs
And
and
seed,
stuff like that.
for example, comes from Congo. Now, when you think of Congo, you think of gorillas. You think
Gorillas,
of this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's why narrative and people who are going
Absolutely.
to change the narrative and reshape it, it's important because for so long we had to rely on somebody else telling our story.
Yes.
When we go do it, we tell the story in an authentic way from people that are actually there living it, and from a narrative standpoint where it's like, nah, y'all heard that, but look at this.
Yeah.
So talking about real estate, it's not quite, but you guys recently just opened up basketball court in Greenberg, right? You talk a little bit about that because that was really special.
Yeah, I mean that center, community center, Theodore Dion Community Center, it just means so much to us.
Yeah,
Me
absolutely.
too. I'm from Yonkers, and I was in this as a kid playing basketball.
It was the first place I came to when I moved to Greenberg as a kid, as a camper in kindergarten, and been there pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
It gave me my first job. I always tell people, like, I didn't know what it was to be in education until I had to work with kids.
Yeah.
And then realized I had a natural gift for it. And that's why I went into education. My after school program, right? Like even Ab, who works with us now, I had him as a student there, right? Like playing ball there.
Yeah.
Like working Crossroads, right?
Yeah.
Like creating.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This is
Taking
this,
it back.
This is where it's happening, right? So like financial literacy is not something that I could even fathom if I didn't have those kids to say I need to teach them about money because we're paying them. And so a lot of it circles back to there. Obviously him playing ball down there.
Yeah, that's
At one point, if you wanted the fish sandwich, you had to
Yep.
you got to hit him on the bat line. That's a fact. That's a fact. But it was how do we give back to our community, right? Yeah, what we're doing on a global scale is great, but we want to have a direct impact on the people that are still in Greenberg. Obviously, we're still there, and so we know that sports is one of those things that unifies it. That park means so much to us, and we were like, yo, there's an opportunity here for us to actually redesign the park and refurbish it. And when we sat down with, shout out to Dave and Andre Early and Terrence over there, we sat down with them with the idea. They loved the idea and was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. So it was about 6-month process, and we cut the ribbon for it, man. And now there's new basketball court, new tennis court. I know they're playing paddleball over there now.
on the other side, yeah.
Were you
Yeah,
able
man.
to get funding from the town? Like I know there's a lot of
How'd that
lot
come
of red
about?
tape.
Right. How'd you go about that?
About building it or
Yeah.
funding?
Yeah. funding.
both.
No, we didn't get funding. We did it ourselves.
Okay.
We had to just Dave. Really, he was like the
Liaison.
between that. But just went to him really, and I guess he did whatever he needed to do to get it approved so it can actually be done. But they didn't. We didn't really have any. We didn't have any outside funding.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to do it. It's good to have help, but sometimes
Yep.
you all the help you need, and so that was an initiative. But I mean, every time we have a chance to help our community, we're gonna do that. So even like for InvestFest, us sending the kids. The idea was like the kids that were in Crossroads. How do we get back to them?
Yeah.
We wanted to bring them down to see this thing, right? It's because you grow up, you're not. If you got on a plane, it was like that was a
Oh, it's a
luxury.
big deal.
It's a huge deal, right? And so we're like,
I wasn't on the plane until basketball time.
exactly. So how many
know?
kids have an opportunity, number one, to travel outside their neighborhood, let alone see something that was created from people that live in their neighborhood?
Yeah.
And so, we've done that for the past few years. This year we got 45 kids we brought down to see it with chaperones, just so they can get the idea of what entrepreneurship looks like, what business looks like, and to see what like-minded people who are not just entertainers and not just athletes, but actually come from the world of business. What could that do to a 14-year-old, 15-year-old brain? What can that spark? How can that inspire them? So, that's just, the community's so much to us, so we got to get back every chance we get.
And speaking of that, that was the next segment, InvestFest.
Yeah.
Can you touch a little bit on what that is and what it's about? I mean, we know, but for the people?
Yeah, InvestFest is
Huge. It's huge, by the way.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's huge.
So that was the idea originally, was just to have like a big event, because we was doing other events, smaller events, but we wanted to kind of have like a, something that people kind of are synonymous with us, but then also it's not all about us either. And wanted to just see how we could do something different than what everybody else had done in financial space as far as conferences or a seminar. So the idea of a festival was something that was interesting because, never really heard of a financial festival. And festivals are big as far as music festivals, food festivals, stuff like that. So it's like, okay, well, how can we do something that is in the lane of a festival, but still around business and finance. So that was the idea of Invest Fest, was to combine a business conference with like a musical festival. So that's why you have like food trucks, and we have a vendor marketplace, and we have like big stages. It looks like, an artist is performing, stuff like that, and even like the flyer and different things. It was all done to try to mimic like a festival that you would think would be in the line of music, but we wanted to do it for finance. So that was the original idea behind it. And yeah, it's this year 5 just wrapped up, and it's grown to something that's very big, one of the biggest financial events in the world, and over the course of 3 days in Atlanta. And
Which venue do you use again?
Georgia World Congress Center. So that's their convention center in Atlanta, real huge. And it's a way for people to, get education. They come, they network, businesses, vend. There's over 100 speakers over the course of the 3 days. We have musical performances, VIP night, and then there's different satellite events at this point where people have all stuff that like at nighttime, and so it's become definitely a cultural staple, especially in Atlanta, when it comes to business, finance, and just a global movement when it comes to especially our culture, and people just gravitating towards that, and people look forward to it every year in August. And like I said, we just wrapped up the fifth one, so time flies on that. But it's grown every year.
How long does something like that take to plan? Because you got to imagine like all the permits you have to get, and the people, everything just has to kind of line up. Like how long does that? What's that process like?
It's definitely a process. So he just said that 25 wrapped up about 2 weeks ago, and so the group chat has changed to 2026. Yeah. And so I tell people it takes 12 months for us to put on something that takes 3 days. But we understand the magnitude of it. We understand the importance of it, and we want to make sure that people come and they feel inspired, and they take away something from it. So each year, like, we start with a list of people that we think would be great, what topics are prevalent in the economy and in the market in our communities, and we try to make sure that we have people that can speak to that. And then having vendors, businesses that come to make sure that patrons can see new businesses, have new business ideas, and have partners. So yeah, man, it's a year process.
So for the people who don't know, who were the guest speakers this year? Just go down the line and name a few. I mean, I know, but
we had Magic Johnson.
Say it again.
Some guy you might have heard of.
They might have
heard of that guy.
Yeah, for sure. We had Magic. We had Issa Rae. We had Charlemagne. We had Jack Dorsey. We had Steve Harvey.
Pinky Cole, Fawn Weaver, Tabitha Brown, John Hope Bryant. I mean, the list is pretty impressive. Yeah. And like I said, like the everyday person has now become the story. I think that was one of the things that we took away this year was like, yes, celebrity is important, but we watched rooms with people that come from EYL University pack out 4,000 people. Right, just about information and investing, sourcing in China. Like, there's so many different topics that people want to get information from, and it's become that. So, like, yes, when Magic's on the stage, completely packed to the room. But when the person that's talking about how to create a retirement plan is on stage, completely packed because people are like, that information is great, and this information is great, and I can apply that, and I can execute on that. They're finding the value in everything that we're putting forth, which is like, when we look at it, it's like, yeah, we got it. This time, we figured it out to a point where it's like, all right, now we just got to keep fine-tuning this to make it even better next year.
So if we were to backtrack a little bit, for the people that are under a rock and have not seen your show, right? Can you talk about the format of your show and like why you chose that type of format? Because it's an educational show, but there's more to it.
Yeah. So the original thesis was the backstories behind sports and entertainment. And like you said, it was just me and Shadi in a room with shotgun mics and some cell phones, and we were recording. And then we would touch on trending topics that would happen, and then a case study at the end. And so Illegal Dan Goldie, who was at the time and still is the wealthiest black man on the planet, people didn't know about him, so we told the story about him. Famous Amos was a story that we told.
Yeah.
People didn't Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
So we would tell the origins of that. And then episode 11, an entrepreneur from Baltimore, Derek Falcon, came on, and he gave us his entire blueprint for his business in the world of restaurants. And we were sitting there like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, this is it.
Write that down.
Yeah. We were like, wait, hold on. We got to revamp this. We looked, and he was like, yo, that's the new format for the show. Like, we need to get entrepreneurs to come on and give them the blueprint, because number one, they're sharing their story, but people listening to it are going to say, either I'm in that profession and I didn't know that, and that can help, or, man, I always thought about doing that, and now this person has given me the step-by-steps to actually, like, fulfill that dream of mine. And so that became the format, interview style, where we would get entrepreneurs on in different aspects. I always call it like the gumbo of financial literacy. Whatever you think about, like, we've probably done an episode on. And so from that, Earn Your Leisure just took off. And then we did an episode in investing in January of 2020 with this guy named Ian Dunlap, you may have heard of. And it was crazy because in March of 2020, obviously the pandemic hit, and we put his episode out, and it was about investing. Market had just crashed. People were like, oh my gosh, this episode was perfect. The timing couldn't have been better. And Shadi was like, look, man, we got something here. We should, like, create another show. And when he put that text out, he raised his hand like, look, I'm interested in doing a show. And so Market Mondays becomes a show.
That's how that came about, right.
It became a show. And that was like show number 2 for us, where that was like weekly, live.
Right.
People were getting advice in investing. They were talking about trending topics in the world of business. But most importantly, they were taking the information that they heard on Monday night, and Tuesday they were in the market executing.
Applying it.
Right. And so the market had bottomed, and now that we're telling the information to the companies to look at. And every Monday, people are coming back because, like, wait, I just made money. I just made money. I just made
More and
money.
more people, yeah.
Let me go tell somebody else I just made money. And so now that value add, you can't supplement, right? Like, once I teach you how to make something and you've done it, oh, we're good forever. And so now that grows. And, obviously now with Blackout, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, Blackout is a show that me and Ian do that started last year. And that's just like a late night unscripted type show. We just talk about our opinions and tie different things in. So we just give different people with different, it's different offerings.
Yeah.
You want, traditional sit down with entrepreneur, that's on your leisure. You want, live market based show just about investing in stocks, that's Market Mondays. You want a variety show with opinion based on different trending topics and, a little bit more edgier content, then that's Blackout.
That's dope. So you got 2 live shows, and Earn Your Leisure is taped, pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So you touch a lot of different branches.
And it works because what you'll see in the space is that people will be like, oh, those are the finance guys. Well, if they watch On Your Leisure, they may feel that way. But if they watch Blackout, they're like, hold on.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Personality, too.
Yeah. And so you never want people to put you in the box. And so
Right.
we try to do as many things as possible that get to show our other side, right? So if it's sports, let's do that. If it's fashion, let's talk about that. If it's music, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, that's what we naturally would do.
Right. Anyway, right.
Exactly. And so we want to show people that we're multifaceted. Like, we can go anywhere and feel good. Like, any room that we're in, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So you touching on. So now that I know you got that other show, and I saw you on another podcast with some Westchester friends talking about basketball and top this and that. And, and
I didn't know about
Westchester,
that.
stuff
Shout out to the
like
guys.
that.
Shout out
Yeah,
to the guys.
they're doing it as well. But since you mentioned music, who's your top rapper?
Ever?
Yeah.
I mean, Nas is my favorite. Nas is my favorite of all time. So
Me too.
That's somebody that I kind of grew up. I did grow up listening to not just him, but he was like probably the most influential person from like my childhood as far as the music that influenced me the most. So yeah, Nas is my favorite.
And just every day a better you. You think these newer rappers right now, they need to be better, or they straight?
How do you feel about
how you feel about
the
that?
current state of hip-hop?
Of hip hop,
now?
man.
Yeah, I think that, it's definitely been dumbed down and watered down a lot over the years. And it's some still good music out there, and there's still people that's doing their thing as far as, actually saying something, but a lot of it is not really inspiring to me, at least. So yeah, definitely think that, you know, as a whole, I think the music is a reflection of like culture. So it's like culture as a whole can probably do a lot better job as far as,
Without a doubt.
you know, just having more substantive conversations and higher level of priority. And the music is a reflection of that. So yeah, definitely I don't really listen to a lot of like the younger artists too much, because I can't really, you know, I don't really get inspired by it.
I agree with that as well, but I think a lot that has to do with that, our culture has started making so much money. It got commercialized. So now you have people telling you what to do. They didn't even come from this, but they're telling you how to do it and what to do. You understand what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact. That's a fact.
Like, how you telling me
That's a
what
fact.
people want to hear? I'm from this. How you telling, you
That's
know?
a fact. 100%.
Here's a check. Here,
Yeah.
you got to be like this. Here's a check, you know?
Yeah.
So years and decades of that, you know, you get watered down, you get the buffoonery, you get all that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
facts. 100.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, buffoonery has always existed, but we had balance.
Yes.
Right. There
Yes.
was other things we could listen to.
Right.
But the idea of it is that it's still a business,
Yes.
and we don't own any of that
No.
business.
We're not even in the room right
Yeah,
now.
They just,
you know what I mean?
A lot of times, I mean, for the most part, it's just employees
Yeah.
that are being told what to make.
Right.
Sometimes to the detriment of the community that they make it for.
That's what I'm saying. So when the meetings are going on, they're looking at the numbers and the type of song, okay, they got to do more of this. They got to do, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and that's why it's important, the mission that we're kind of on, right? And obviously, y'all as a representation of that as well, are just positive figures in your communities, right? Like that means more, right?
Absolutely.
The
100%.
chances of somebody being you are highly likely,
100%.
right? Like we always tell people that, right? So like being that type of model, showing that you have duplicity to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand the music, but like here's a wave. Like this is
Exactly.
important. Like the finance part is
Right.
important. The investing part is important, right? Because if we taught our kids how to invest in an early age, how many of them would look at entertainment as the way out? But we grow up thinking like,
And that's the funny
you got to
thing.
make it.
That's the funny thing, because that is the hardest way, which we went about, is the athletics. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, nobody told me in those years, you could be a lawyer, you could invest, you could be. Nobody told me that in those years. You know what they told me? You got practice at this time. You work on this, work on that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Were you keen on investing in the financial world before?
I wasn't. I always talk about the idea of not knowing and feeling like a lifelong learner. Those two things transpired right when I graduated from college. Like I just got my bachelor's. We were all having to sit down at my boy's crib, and they were talking about this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I hadn't read it, and they were having conversations, and I had nothing to say, like no input. I hadn't read it. I didn't have any really background in finance. Like I was obviously like disciplined from just having money and understanding how it worked at that point, but I couldn't have an in-depth conversation. And I was like, look, that's the last time that's ever going to happen. Like there's not going to be a financial conversation that I can't at least take part in
Right.
and have some level of intellectual input.
Right.
And so I challenged myself. Like I remember the next day going to Barnes and Nobles and buying Business Week and Wall Street Journal and not really understanding any of it, but deciding like, all right,
going,
well,
right.
this is going to be the foreign language that I'm about to teach myself.
Right.
And then opening a brokerage account at that time. It's like 2005 actually, buying a brokerage account. At the time it was Scott Trade. You had to pay $7 to buy, $7 to sell. So I was like, damn, that's $15 off the rip.
Right.
Now it's
That was
free.
a lot of money back then.
But I invested in Apple in 2005. Yeah, just because I was reading Business Week and I was like, oh, this is a company that's going to be putting out products that I
Yeah,
think.
now you can't take your money out.
Yeah, now I mean,
Hey,
2000,
capital gains is
2005
crazy.
was there, and then 2008 happened, and market crashes, and I'm like, oh, I took my money out. Valuable lesson. Never do that.
Don't do it.
This is actually the time you should be buying more. But again, I had to learn these things.
Yeah.
And then every day, just reading and reading and reading to the point where I'm just like, all right, I'm part of the conversation. Matter of fact, I'm comfortable leading the conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of friends that they do a lot of like the Robin Hood, day trading kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I graduated with a finance degree, right? But that day trading stuff, it's tricky. How do you how do you simplify that for people listening?
I tell them day trading is for live men, not for freshmen.
Right.
Yeah, so we always talk about investing, right? Day trading is a skill that you should master before you actually participate in that.
Okay.
Like even what I do with options, it's like that's the skill that's going to take time to master. So you should first invest for the long term, right? So buy companies that you believe that are going to be strong and be here for the next 5, 10, 20 years, right? Whether that's Apple or it's Microsoft, it's Nvidia, or it's Meta. Like these companies that we know that Amazon, we're actually using and consuming and being customers of, right? Like there's an opportunity for us to actually own some of those. And so start there as a foundation. And then as you learn technicals, fundamentals, and that's a skill set that you want to learn, take time and learn it, paper trade it before you do it. Yes, it could be lucrative, but it could also be very costly if you're not experiencing that.
And what do you say to the average Joe? Let's say, I won't even say average. Let's say you got someone
looking to
invest, making
right.
$3,000 a month or something like that, right? And after it's all said and done, they probably got, $800 disposable income, right? What would you talk to that person about, like investing?
I mean, 800. That's a start, right? Like you got to figure out from a budget standpoint, how much of that are you going to put in it? I always tell people, and we just said this the other day, like you can't work your way to wealth. Like you have to invest. It's not even an option,
right?
Especially with inflation and the way the labor market is going to look in the next 5 years with AI. You have to invest. And so out of that 800, how much are we going to put into those companies, right? Are we going to put into indexes or ETFs? Because you have to build the foundation. Dollar cost averaging is something that people should be very familiar with, right? The same way that you pay your phone bill, the same way that you pay your light bill, you should be having a line item for investing in some of these things. And so if people understand that discipline and they can become part of their everyday or their weekly thing, the better, right? And then you start learning those skills. I think people feel like, oh, I don't have enough money to invest, and it's the wrong mindset, right? If you got $50, how much of that can you put into your brokerage account?
Exactly.
Right, I don't care if you get a fractional share. You need to be part of something, because the one thing's gonna happen if you don't make money while you sleep, it's gonna work till you die.
Yeah, you're gonna run out.
Right, and so we got to make sure that we're making money while we sleep. We worked hard to get the money. Now the money has to go work hard for us.
Wow, this is I could keep going.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
I know I could keep going forever, man. But before we get you out of here, we do our gym in a week.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people? Something that they can do quick this coming week, something that they can just kind of like to get started, whether it's investing, financial world, bettering themselves some kind of way, right? Because it's not, when we talk about bettering ourselves, it's not always just about money. There's self-care and all of those kind of things. So what would you like a gem you would drop for the people for this week?
I think it's a matter of just starting somewhere. I think a lot of times people have the end game when they have goals, and then they don't really have like the beginning where they're going to start from. So no matter what it is, whether it's working out, whether it's business, whether it's investing, like just focus more so on step one as opposed to where you want to go in step 100. So if you want to, have $100,000, say like focus on investing $100 a month first, then 200, then 300, then 400, right? If you want to lose 50 pounds, focus on losing 5 pounds first. Like I think that, you got to take it one step at a time. Like literally, like you just got to take it one step at a time. And it could be discouraging if you try to look too far in the future. So you got to, break the goals into more micro aspects. That's easier as opposed to looking at it from the huge macro.
Right.
There you go. Rashad has spoken. Just start.
Absolutely.
That's it. Well, fellas, man, this was really an honor.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming. Yeah,
I want to thank you, man. This is, there's a lot of minds out there that are listening, watching, that have been open now, and you guys are doing big things, man. And not just because of like, what you see, money you're making, whatever, but you're really impacting a lot of lives at the micro level.
And
so
changing mindsets.
Yeah,
that's
man.
very important.
I
appreciate that, man.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Appreciate you.
And likewise, man. Again, education is a field that we all chose, man, and that's not for the faint of heart. That's because you did it because you want to change people's lives, and so any way you can educate and help people, we'll do it. You do it. Everybody has a role to play, man. So congrats to y'all for starting this.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, we got a
Appreciate
long
it.
way to go, but we're gonna
Appreciate
keep
it, yeah.
trucking, baby.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. Please remember to like, download, share, comment. We're on all platforms. Every day a better you, man. One day at a time. Real stories.
Real results.
Every day a better you.
Make it a great one.
Let's go.